Hey, this is Wilbur back with another game of Mechabellum. This time we're going to be doing a replay analysis with the idea that I'll be explaining more of my moves and the reasoning behind why I did them. And our opponent, Trash Panda, I'll try to explain how he could have done a better job of dealing with my board. This was a comment that I got from a recent YouTube video that I put out where the commenter would have liked to have seen me explain things a little bit more. So we'll try that out this game with that comment in mind. So I guess before we get going on the deployment, I picked a supply specialist with a tarantula crawler start, and my opponent picked the farseer specialist with a tank fang start. So when I pick tarantula starts, I'm basically always going to be playing aggressive. It's, I think, the best way to utilize tarantula is like early game advantage of lots of HP and pretty good at clearing things like chaff and tanks. And they do okay against things like balls, and I think their hardest counter is going to be that Stormcaller. So I got a pretty good starting pack for my opponent, so I'm pretty confident that we'll be winning these first few rounds. So if I speed up the deployment a little bit, I'll click the fast deployment button here and get things moving. So we'll see the positioning come out for myself and my opponent. And I'll pause again and talk about this positioning that I started with. So I put my two tarantulas forward, with the crawlers a little bit behind, so in case my opponent has, put his units on the line, the tarantulas will be tanking, and I won't lose that crawler DPS as fast as I normally would. And then I almost always put this crawler behind the tower because it splits the crawlers natively. So if you do have something like a Stormcaller or a Vulcan come down, these crawlers will be spread out a little bit, and the Stormcallers will miss some of them on each volley, and then the Vulcan will have to at least like turn to kind of flamethrower part of that split pack. So if we slow down a little bit, we'll see I also buy a few more chaff units. So I grab a Fang to put behind this tower to slow down any push that'll be coming over here, and then I put Crawler all the way in the back to stop any of those flanks. My opponent just kind of deployed pretty standard with Fangs, and he bought the Crawler and put them to cover his flanks. So in this combat phase, we'll see our tarantulas cleaning up all the chaff and all those tanks without any issues. Pretty much what we expected to happen here against these starting units. So we'll take the tower before they do. The crawlers are just getting there after they killed all my Fangs. And most of these units will fall before this tower does. We'll have a little bit of cleanup left with this kind of half pack of crawlers and those tanks and those Fangs. One of the cool things about this replay is that this game was one of those rare opportunities where I am actually going to go Tarantula carry, and I'll explain why once we start seeing the things that lead up to it. So that kind of went by a little fast, but to recap, both me and my opponent took the what's the name of this item? The improved firepower control system, which grants 70% increased damage. And I immediately slam that onto this tarantula that is almost level 2. I know I'll be leveling this guy, and getting that increased damage on here is going to be fantastic. So now we'll see what else we get. So I grab a second tarantula, pushing my advantage on that flank, and I also bring over a Fang to put in front of these two tarantulas in case something like Steel Balls comes out and he puts them right on the front line to latch immediately, or a later game, I'll pause real quick, a later game Melting Point. So this kind of gives you a little buffer for those types of things. So this round my opponent just grabbed another Sledgehammer and he put 2 forward Fangs. That's where his $500 went. And he also missiled. The missile I don't really agree with, so we'll see that it comes over here and hits my flanking units instead of the forward units. Our tarantula will deploy without a problem, and it'll clean up all these crawlers and help us push into the tower. Once again, my opponent didn't add anything over here to pressure my tower, so these Fangs will do just fine in delaying that tower from falling and allowing my tarantulas to push in and take the tower first. So we'll speed up a little bit here. At this point, I think what I would have liked my opponent to do differently, instead of grabbing that second round of tanks that he has, I would have liked to have seen him get some marksmen, because marksmen are quite good against tarantulas. Either that or have unlocked a phoenix, because those are also quite good against tarantulas, and made an air threat for me to deal with besides the ground threat. Another option is unlocking the Stormcaller and putting down a pack of Stormcallers this round. So he could have saved that $50 from the missile, gotten 2 packs of Stormcallers, or gotten 2 packs of Phoenixes, or he could have just grabbed some marksmen, maybe deployed 2 marksmen, and then did rapid, that additional unit to be like some kind of chaff or whatever. So I'm gonna restart round 3 here so we can see the deployments. I'm gonna slow this back down. So go back to round. This is something I don't like about replays. So we'll go back to round 2. We'll hide this panel, and then we'll go back to round 3 so we can see the unit drop a little bit more clearly. So we have Marksman, Phoenix, Mustang, and Fire Badger. So our opponent grabbed the Fire Badger immediately. So he had an opportunity here to, maybe the fast deployment is causing that, to grab Phoenixes or Marksman that counter the Tarantula, and he opted for the Fire Badgers instead. So I really disagree with his choice. I think there was a pretty clear option for him to take. And because of the Phoenix drop, I actually took the Mustangs. That's I thought was pretty confident the high-level Phoenix was going to come out to snipe these Tarantulas. He also deployed one of the Fire Badgers in the flank, which actually will be completely useless this round because this Crawler is going to kill them all. We see that I have leveled the Tarantula, and now that this guy's level 2 with the item, he's doing almost 2,000 per shot, where the single level 2 is only doing 1,000. If we look at tank HP, 2 shots is going to kill a tank, and for the Fire Badgers it's going to be 3 shots. So quite a strong carry unit that this single Tarantula is going to become. So we see the Mustangs on the side. As far as other deployments, I still have the $400 this round, so we'll see what I end up doing with it. Speed up a little bit here. My opponent also hasn't even used his item yet, which is a big mistake. These things, like, this just unused money if it's just sitting there, not on a unit. He could have stuck it on the Farseer this round to help clear out these Tarantulas, or done, anything with it. He's just waiting too long. So this round I grabbed the range enhancement for the Tarantulas because I know I'm playing Tarantula carry. My opponent grabbed an additional Farseer and hasn't teched them yet. So we'll see our carry Tarantula just racking up the damage here as the round goes on. Our Mustangs got a little too forward because we don't have range on them, and they got wiped out by the Farseers. So this Tarantula doing 50k damage, pretty good. Once again, we have our 3 Tarantulas left and a little bit of cleanup from that left side, weak side. So when I was playing this game, I was really surprised to not see those Phoenixes or those Marksmen come out. Those were the best options to stop my board. So Trash Panda not making great decisions. So he receives Subsidized Stormcaller, which would have been another great pickup for Trash Panda to stop the Tarantulas, but he picked Extended Range Sledgehammer, which I also think is a poor choice. My Tarantulas are going to be in range in like 2 steps, so why bother? You're just reducing the HP down. Like, now this Tarantula almost dies in a single shot. This Sledgehammer. He did throw down a Vulcan. I don't think this is necessarily a bad choice. Leveled Tarantulas are a little bit harder to kill for a level 1 Vulcan, and we'll see that play out. I actually got the redeployment this round, thinking that I'm going to move my Tarantula out of here. I'm expecting it to take too much damage. So slow a little bit back down and see how this goes. So I redeploy my Tarantula, moving him over here. I think I actually changed my mind. He's also added Scorch and finally put that improved firepower control system down on the unit. I opt for some wasps to try to break into this left side, weak side. See a missile come down, and I finally decide just to kind of take that flanking tarantula and move him along this left side. I want to start pressuring this left tower, as so much money is being put down on this right tower to defend. I'll also take the mobile beacon to get in onto this tower. So I don't think this is a bad move. I think it just came maybe a round too late. It should have been out a little bit sooner, maybe when these tarantulas hadn't all leveled. So now we have leveled tarantulas where they can chew through this Vulcan pretty readily. So now we have these fire badgers that are active. They don't have the summoning sickness anymore, so they will be getting to the tower eventually this round. But we might also break into his tower before they are able to take mine with the wasp. So you can see that melting point actually dies to the boss tarantula, and it hardly has taken any damage. The one that's taken the most is the one I did the movement to. So both towers fall roughly at the same time, so there's almost no benefit for either side. The tower debuffs are about roughly the same. And we see I have all my tarantulas left again, and the little pack of wasps has a few units. So we see our big tarantula turn around and take out these fire badgers in 3 shots. So pretty dominating game so far. So we see advanced defense tactics, incendiary bomb, shield device, and shield drop. So this one, I think it's kind of, this is expensive when you're playing a early game comp, so I think I'll skip this. The incendiary bomb is almost always like a see it, click it, activable ability. So I side with that. My opponent also did the right thing though and has grabbed advanced shield device and anticipated me going for the fire. It's a bit of a waste on my side, but he spent 200 resources in the block. So it's a net resource positive to me if I can win the round and take down these bubbles. We see I got 2 more levels for the tarantulas, so they'll be doing even more damage now. I've leveled this side tower to deter any flanking that might happen. And I've gotten the redeployment for my wasp this time. I'm looking to do a mobile beacon, but I also changed my mind and moved them over here to deal with these flanking fire badgers instead. There's the levels that come down. Now I have $800, and I'm not sure if this is the round where I go for Mechanical Rage or if I wait another round. Mechanical Rage is a very good tech on tarantulas. Increases their movement speed and reduces their attack interval, so their DPS goes way up. So now we are fully invested in the carry tarantula build. You can see these bubbles with 2 tarantulas shooting it don't last too long. Difference in firepower between this level 3 and this level 3 is still about 1,000. So this guy's dealing a lot of damage. Watch how fast the Vulcan goes down to this tarantula. There he goes. Our wasps are joining the fight now after they've taken care of those fire badgers. And these leveled tarantulas on the right are just been unstoppable against my opponent's board. I think the unit choices they made were very poor to stop the carry tarantula style play. So if you run into somebody that's trying to play carry tarantula, don't help them out by just picking bad units. Stormcallers, Phoenixes are your friends, and that's what you should be doing against these types of boards. So we see another card round. I take the portable shield to give this tarantula some more HP, and I level all my tarantulas again that were able to level up that round. My opponent takes the desperation nuke to try to clear the board. And finally we see an EMP, one of the smartest things my opponent did all game, to EMP these tarantulas to remove those double techs. Tarantulas without tech are a lot weaker than they are with tech. I've moved this wasp, now that's now level 2, back over here to target this tower, and instead have added a missile to delay the fire batters on this side. And now, since I'm moving the tarantula line over, I need to protect them a little bit, so I add a fang. And I also bubble, anticipating the nuke. And I missile this pack of fangs just so I can get in there and target the important units sooner. So here we'll see this left side will get in eventually. The nuke comes down, but you can still see that the carry tarantula, he survived. The shield did us some job. This tarantula survived. And we're able to bust through all the units that are left. And I did add a flanking. I missed this flanking tarantula I added over here. So we still have 3 tarantulas left this round. And with that, we have enough. Oh, I don't think it's quite enough. Yeah, one more round for our opponent to turn the game around, but I don't think it's going to happen. So here we finally see the Stormcaller come down. There's also a bunch of Wraiths, which are really good. Oh, looks like that wasn't a flanking tarantula. It was just one that was the mobile beacon tarantula that walked way up there. This round, I do add a flanking tarantula on this side. I remember that in this game. I opt for the Stormcallers to help break the side faster. My opponent opts for the air units, which I think is quite smart, because you can see all I have right now is Fangs, this Mustang that doesn't have range, and a Wasp to take care of air units. He's also added 2 Overlords after selling one of the Wraiths, which I think is also a good move. Opponent finally making some intelligent decisions, but it might be too little too late with only 108 HP left. I added EMP to my Stormcallers to shut down some of this tech that's on the ground units. And here comes that flanking tarantula to help break this tower. I think this is my opponent's missile. It'll destroy the crawlers. Here I rapid resupplied, I think, the last few rounds and added range, temp range, and speed. So when I saw this happen, like this board come down, I was like, oh no, a bunch of air units. I don't know if I'll be able to win this round. So the Mustangs almost take down this boat on the right. This boat in the middle is untouched. We did kill this Wraith off on this side between the level 2 Wasps and the Fang. I did also add another round of Wasps up here on the flank. It looks like the Stormcallers killed those flanking Fire Badgers. Now we only have what's left to kill 3 air units is this 1 pack of Fangs. Our big tarantulas are buying a lot of time over here. So we have this Overlord with just a little bit of HP left. Hopefully this pack of Fangs can take it down. There it goes. We lose a few from that volley. But this Wraith is just a little bit too close to these tarantulas to target these Fangs. And with 30 seconds left, I think the Fangs are going to be able to chew through them. And between the 2 tarantulas that aren't going to be dead and the Fang, will do more than 108 damage. So really close last round. My opponent was on the verge of turning it around, but we get a 7-round win with Carry Tarantula, where my opponent, I think, made a lot of bad early game decisions that allowed me to play the Carry Tarantula style. So if you can recognize when opportunities like this happen for you, I knew I was going to try Carry Tarantula as soon as I saw this item come down, and you can kind of build your game around that. Let's say my opponent did counter something, like maybe he did buy that round 2 Stormcaller. I would have probably sold out of Tarantulas and gone into something else, because Tarantulas are horrible against Stormcallers. So be flexible is the other thing I would say. Like, let's say you do get countered when you were planning on playing Carry Tarantula. You know, you might be able to eke out 1 or 2 more round wins before that counter really ramps up, but you should pivot to Tarantula and don't commit more resources into it. Don't buy that second tech. You know, you need to make decisions like that. You need to counter your opponent's board, not just like try to face roll, no thinking about what's going on the board. That might work on some builds, like I think Fort Fang seems to be pretty strong right now, although I did win against a Fort Fang guy in 5 rounds. Maybe I'll put that video up next. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the kind of unorthodox Carry Tarantula replay. And I mean, you can play unorthodox styles as long as your opponent lets you do it. And my opponent did this game. So hope you like the different style of video, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you made it this far. It's nice to see those numbers grow as a content creator, and it keeps us motivated to keep producing. So we'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.
This video is done, but you don't have to be. one of these Mechabellum videos, so keep watching. We got more crawlers.